Training camp is just a day away, and we share our insight into what we feel some of the structural changes might be for Bruce Cassidy's offense. Number one, shoot the stinking puck. More ahead on Lockdown Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome from Las Vegas, Tony. A little feisty today. Welcome from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You could find us wherever you get your podcast. And of course, Chris, the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and the host of the Hockey News Collectibles Pod with Chris Golick. That's something new.
That's me.
Yes, and I am a longtime sportscaster, the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast with an unbelievable guest this week, and that is super motocross legend Ken Roxon, and I'm also a marketing consultant. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel. It is America's #1 sportsbook. And coming up ahead on the show, how can VGK draw more penalties? And players want some changes to the playoff structure. We'll get into all of that. So, Chris, after VGK goes through yet another playoff drought this past season in the second round of the playoffs, there were some, let's say, tense moments in the locker room. Remember hearing about that when VGK bows out of the playoffs, loses to Edmonton in the second round. And I do believe still that Kelly McCrimmon and the front office told Bruce Cassidy that it's time to retool this offense. And so however it went down, VGK now needs to score more. They're going to make some wholesale changes, we believe, and that's what they've said offensively. What are some of those offensive structure changes that you believe could happen, Chris, as camp begins tomorrow/Thursday?
Well, VGK is shooting more. That's
Shoot
not
the stinking puck.
the answer. They shot
That's not the
2,000. They had 2,037 shots for last season, ranking only second to the Oilers of Edmonton at 21-13. So I don't think taking more shots is going to be the answer. For me, honestly, I think the team, and we're going to hit this harder in the second segment, but I think you're going to see some changes made that might lead to more penalties drawn, meaning more power plays for the Golden Knights, who, by the way, last year were the second overall power play unit, clicking at 28.34% of the time. Issue is, as far as the amount of penalties drawn, and again, these two segments are going to definitely cross over a lot. The Golden Knights were last or second to last as far as penalties drawn.
Okay, you know what? We don't
Go
need
ahead.
the second segment.
No, you're fine.
No, we don't need the second segment now. You just kind of.
No, I got some stuff. I got some stuff in there
Okay.
right there. But at the end of the day, it's a better effort, and I'll try not to say how until the second segment, in drawing more penalties.
You're hilarious. We should have just started with the second segment first.
I thought about that, but then we would have been,
Does
we would have
VGK
said we should have started with the second segment first because they're going to
Okay.
commingle.
Does VGK change from more of a zone approach defensively to more in your face, man for man defensively? Because then you could get more turnovers, perhaps. And it is a 5-man approach with the attack offensively. Does VGK grow further? Remember, Bruce Cassidy wanted the defenseman to join the rush repeatedly. It went so-so last season, and that's in segment 4. But what do you think? I mean, as far as them getting the breakouts there, if they tighten up defensively and try to create more turnovers, a lot harder on the puck.
The Golden Knights gave up the 11th fewest shots on goal. This is all on Money Puck, by the way. Money Puck is a great tool to look at all this, but they gave up 1,780 shots. The Carolina Hurricanes gave up the league's fewest shots at 1,604 for reference. and the team with the most shots against, yet again, the Anaheim Ducks at 2,065. Death taxes and the Anaheim Ducks giving up the most shots in the NHL are nothing but certainties. So as far as the zone defense and limiting those shots, I don't think that's going to be where you see the changes.
Well, it leads to more breakouts, you would think, offensively, right?
It
If they couldn't do that.
It does possibly. But again, I think there needs to be a greater emphasis on puck possession as well
Protect the
once you
puck.
get it.
That's for you, Noah Hannafin, if you're tuning in. Of course, with no Pietrangelo, the turnover machines, those two, they should be a little bit better, right, as far as protecting the puck.
Pietrangelo, I don't think had a history of poor turnovers until injuries. I mean, the dude was being held together by toothpicks, I think, last season. I mean, call it what it is. And Hannafin, now there's definitely a concern. We've seen Hannafin be on the wrong side of a few things, but I think, and again, this is nothing negative on Pietrangelo. I just think Hannafin and Pietrangelo didn't coexist well together on the ice when it came to being on the same D pair, not being on, just for some reason, those two together, I think it didn't work out. And I do expect Hannafin to take a major step forward in that regard this season.
Yeah, he should. I mean, he led the team, I think, right, in turnovers last season. And then, again, when I say shoot the puck, we're going to have to see how they mesh, how they mold together. And that is Eichel and Marner. And everyone is like just giddy about, well, neither one of them likes to shoot the puck. Yes, to some degree, but yet they wind up with almost 200 points between them. They can score goals when needed. And again, if they just shoot the puck more frequently, I always like that, especially with Eichel, because he never shoots enough. That's what I've said before. But Marner, I think both of those guys are going to become more aggressive offensively. Watch out the rest of the league and the Pacific Division.
Time and space, never enough of in the NHL. That's what makes the NHL the most difficult league in the world to play in. And when you have people like Eichel and now Mitch Marner adding to the fold, even to Shea Theodore on the blue line when he's not turning the puck over back there, but even when you have a Shea Theodore back there, there's going to be a lot more time and space for the offense to operate.
Jackie Ikes looked pretty happy there at the Raiders game. When they introduced the team, he jumped up, and him and Marner were buddies and boys. And
look on Marner's face. I think it was the picture you screenshotted and put up. He was like he was a kid in a candy shop, like, hey, look at me.
Oh, you mean the photo I stole from someone? But at least I gave them credit. Like some.
But you were there at least. I mean, you were there.
I was there at least. Yeah, I just couldn't take a shot of the jumbotron quick enough. Some people anticipate better than I do. But my reflexes are like Canelo's right now. But those two together, I think, can coexist offensively, and I think we're anticipating, curious and waiting to see who else is on that top line with those two. If they they'll start off that way, especially the way VGK plays the game within the game. They're going to want to get out there. They're going to want to troll all of the Toronto fans and media, and we're going to see a photo off the bat of those two on the top line. No doubt. When camp breaks tomorrow, it should be a lot of fun.
So it's funny you mentioned camp breaking. I'm just making sure the VGK hasn't put the camp roster yet.
Yeah, thanks for checking.
We were joking. It's going to be like the minute we're done with our show right now.
Joking. No, that's exactly how it's going to go down.
Yeah, no, like about 6:20, about 6:21. So with the training camp roster, really quickly here, they divide the team up, I believe, into 3 different sessions for the first couple of days until the cuts start. And will Eichel and Marner be on Team Gold or whatever the first team is that takes the ice?
That's the first ones. That's our prediction, right? They'll be together.
Fun. Put them on minus 350,
minus 450, maybe 550.
We just took a big bet.
Everyone knows what our next segment is. Thanks, Scott. Coming up next, however, we will promote it. How can VGK draw more penalties? As we return on Locked On Golden Knights. Most people cannot name all of their financial accounts or even what they are worth, from your 401ks to properties and investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving a lot of money on the table. That is why there is Monarch Money. It is an all-in-one personal financial tool, and it helps you to get all of your finances together. And guess what? It's all on one interface, no stinking spreadsheets. And so you can get it on your laptop or even on your phone. And Monarch does all the heavy lifting, and you can link up all your accounts. Again, you can see clear data visuals, and there's a smart categorization of all of your spending, everything right there, right in front of you. And again, you don't have to open a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL today. Go to monarchmoney.com and do it in your browser. You'll receive half off of your first year. That's right. Check it out. 50% off of your first year. monarchmoney.com, and use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. And thanks so much for making us your first listen each and every day. And please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. Big day today. I better shave this morning, Mr. Golick, because coming up in segment 3, no, just kidding. Today at 10 a.m., tune in to Fox 5 here in Las Vegas, and myself and Q Myers of Locked On Raiders will have a very special announcement, much anticipated, and you have to tune in to find out. And if you sleep through it, of course, many of you, no one's sleeping at 10 a.m. But if you miss it today, of course, keep up with the RX account. Yeah. Okay. So the Golden Knights, you say next to last? I have them last. 31st or 32nd.
It was one of the two. It was one of the two.
I have them at 32nd in penalties drawn this past season, just 219 times. And another way to bolster their scoring, Mr. Golick, maybe this is what you're alluding to, is to get more man advantages for VGK. Pretty simple. They scored 53 times this past season, led by Tomas Hertl, Pavel Dorofeev. They combined for 27 power play goals, nearly half of the goals on the power play. How will VGK draw more penalties this season?
So the answer to this question lies in the puck possession. Golden Knights have been, since day one, an incredible transitional team, and that's going to continue. But now when you add a player like Mitch Marner, I always say when Jack Eichel has the puck out there, it's time and space being created. I mean, I say this a million times, probably the first time I'll say it in the upcoming season, but how many times does Eichel take the puck twice behind the net, twice up to the blue line, and then drop a dime somewhere to someone wide open in the slot or the point, and it leads to a grade A scoring chance? Now you got Mitch Marner too. Now you got two players capable of sucking in the defense, sucking in the, just creating so much more time and space for the other players. So yes, the home run pass is going to be there. The Golden Knights do still have some breakaway speed. They'll still find ways to get outlets to players like William Karlsson and Dorofeev and even Barbashev for breakaway opportunities. Say Kolesar, but he'll blow all of them. Sorry, Kolesar for the first dig of the season. But better puck possession and maybe less of those home run passes and taking those swings for the fences on those transition goals. The biggest reason the Golden Knights draw the fewest penalties is I believe that they have the puck on their stick less than any team in the league. So now you have Eichel and Marner, especially when they're out there on the ice together. Old school cycle, old school bump and grind in the corner, and just wait for space to be created when you have two elite passers creating time and space for each other. Whoever is on that left wing, Barbashev, Dorofeev, one of those two likely. If Howden gets up there, who knows? They're going to have so many opportunities to put the puck in the back of the nets.
So if he's back 100% of the time or thereabouts, I think VGK's version of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander of OKC, the foul baiter, you've got William Karlsson, who trips over sticks a lot. I've said that before. I had to throw that back out there. But he did draw a lot of penalties by doing that. He did. Positioning is so important, of course, when you're trying to draw a foul, your body and the stick. and the way that you protect the puck and the way that you position yourself thereabouts. And I was just wondering, though, will we see within this, going back, I'm just teasing our first segment, uh, will VGK play more low to high still in this new offensive structure? I just thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the one thing that kind of that old school low to high, dance with the puck below the goal line, chip it off the glass. The D takes a couple backward strides and releases a low shot from the point. That's still going to be there. But with this type of offense, when you have now two elite passers and other very good players, such as Hurdle, such as Carlson, such as Mark Stone, who can be at a point per game clip, who are capable of also dropping elite passes. Low to high should be the secondary option. That shouldn't be, if we're going to keep with different sport references that make no sense to hockey. It's going to be the quarterback looking off the first receiver, so to speak, right? The first look should not be going to the point. The first look should
go through your progressions in hockey too.
Yeah, going low to high should be the second or even third option, I think, when you have this much skill out there. You look at what teams like the Tampa Bay Lightning have done throughout the years, who in Stamkos and Hedman and Kucherov were all clicking on the same, on the ice at the same time. That's what you're going to see with the Vegas Golden Knights. So low to high will be there when it's needed. And now play action, Tony. Let's keep going with football references here. When other teams are loading up, expecting the Golden Knights to keep trying to work the puck into the interior, with the likes of Eichel and Marner looking for Barbashev or Stone or Dorofeev in the crease, that's when you start doing the low to high stuff, because they're going to leave those players wide open and they don't need to unload the puck right away. They can wait a second, work their way a couple feet inside instead of taking a weird shot from the blue line by the boards or something like that. Work it out to the middle, shoot low for sticks. Now you got something going. Now you got the defense on their heels instead of on their toes.
And we do have, of course, the QB in hockey there, who is at the point there on the Shea Theodore.
Maybe.
Perhaps, or Mitch Marner on the power play unit. When you're drawing penalties or trying to, a lot of penalties are drawn by players that do not skate in a direct line, right? And it's a player that dekes and moves around and whatever. And I think that that's something that you need to do. And of course, if you're planting yourself in front of the net, a lot of times you can draw a penalty there with good positioning right in front of the net.
No doubt. All those are true. And again, Mitch Marner, another player who can move with the puck vertically and laterally, I guess, horizontally and vertical, whatever terminology you want to use, north, south, east, and west. And that's going to.
You're on one today.
I am on one today. Something in that coffee right there. I stopped putting cream in the coffee. Maybe that's it. But no, I mean, listen, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the Golden Knights to do different things because you have another 100-point player on the team. This feels more like a Marner Monday segment right now. But the reality is this is going to allow the Golden Knights to possibly be tying back to the first segment now, to be a little less of that transitional team and work harder on executing breakouts. And instead of just going for that bomb breakaway pass, you create an odd man rush to the neutral zone with a good breakout pass and a good secondary pass. Very similar to what you see when teams are on the power play, right? You take the puck up, you drop it back, and you try to hit that player with speed. Well, now you're going to execute that a little bit higher in the neutral zone, possibly, in creating more time and space that way.
VGK will definitely budget. They'll budget more than 219 penalties drawn because they like to budget things there. Jeremy Lauzon could be a factor, right? I mean, he'll have a lot of penalties because he's a banger and whatever, but he's also one of those guys that can get under players' skin. And I think that he's a really good addition insofar as, again, that physicality element. And also, I think you're going to see retaliatory strikes by opponents, I would believe, for Jeremy Lauzon.
I mean, Lauzon, Howden, Colasar, all three of those fellows definitely have that in their repertoire to be able to be agitators on the ice without being reckless. And Mark Stone can do that too. You mentioned William Karlsson tripping over sticks. Your words, not mine. But you're just going to see the Golden Knights, I think, even forcing more penalties with their skill and their puck possession just simply by holding the puck on their sticks longer.
Coming up next, Cale Makar tells ESPN that NHL players want the 1-8 playoff structure, that format, the way it used to be a while ago. And he did that while here in Las Vegas to media days, which we weren't invited to. Back with more right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. The NFL season is definitely here. Hopefully, you are still alive in your survivor pools because a lot of people are not. And FanDuel is making sure that you are ready for each and every game for kickoff. And, of course, don't fumble the bag, as they say in the game. Right now, new customers, you can bet $5, and you will get, if your bet wins, $300 in bonus bets. You cannot beat that deal. Of course, we love to use FanDuel wherever we are because, again, it fits however you like it to be. There are the player props, which are extraordinary. I had like 6 players in the Raiders game the other night to score the first touchdown. Didn't get there. Building a same game parlay or even jumping into the live action as it unfolds, which is always a ton of fun. If your favorite team might be down, hey, maybe they have a good rallying cry there after halftime. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app today. Make sure that you check it out at FanDuel.com, and you can get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. You could turn it into $300 in bonus bets. Welcome back, Locked On Golden Knights, for this Tuesday. I'm so confused with days. We appreciate you making us your first listen
Wednesday,
every day.
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. I am confused. Welcome back on this Wednesday edition.
I'm blaming me for having something in my coffee here. Good God.
Exactly. Well, you're running ahead of schedule by promoting different segments, and I'm running behind.
So you trust our timing is perfect. See no evil, hear no evil. Got it.
Exactly. Coming up today, don't forget, at 10 a.m. here in the Pacific time zone in Las Vegas, tune in to Fox 5. Myself and Q Myers will be right there on the set with our good friend Mike Davis, and we'll be announcing something, I think, today. It's a good day to make an announcement.
Allegedly.
Unless I announced it yesterday, and Chris is looking forward to tomorrow's show of Las Vegas and More on Fox 5. So it is hard to believe, right, that it has now been 11 years, Chris, since they changed the playoff
11
format.
years?
Yeah, that's hard to believe. Wake up, bro. Now they used to have the 1 versus 8 playoff format, of course, and down the line. Well, here in Las Vegas this past week, Cale Makar told Greg Wyszynski that he feels like all of the players now want to bring back the 1-8 format. He said he understands the current format, but it makes it a lot harder sometimes to advance. Currently, though, Gary Bettman says, no way, we're not going to change the playoff structure. What do you like? What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of playing according to your seeding, basically?
The advantage is you're playing the lowest possible team, number one, and that's
so you're already planning on VGK being number 1. Okay,
exactly. And with the current system, if you're number 1, you are basically, if you're 1 or 2, there's not a lot of change, but it's for the middle teams where things start to get a little bit muddy. So the old format was the top 2 teams in the conference by winning the division were the 1 and 2 seeds. And then 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, and so forth. The second round, they do a reseed. So it's always the highest versus the lowest, then the middle 2 teams play. And then for the conference final, they throw out if it happens to be where it's a division winner, but going against a team that has more points, just the way the seeding works out, then at that point, the team with more points actually goes to the higher seed. Kind of weird, but just how they used to do it like that. It felt like having a higher seed had more weight to it. Now, why the NHL likes the current format, the first round is much more exciting. You have rivalries being created. You know Edmonton's gonna going to knock the Kings out in the first
Oh
round.
my god! But we have fatigue on that series. I go back to a different format.
No,
because
there's a lot of fatigue on that
I'm
series.
tired of watching that series, to be honest with you.
And I don't like how I don't like how you're likely going against, instead of in the second round going against the lower ranked team, you're going against whoever the winner is of that side of the bracket, which can actually be a detriment because you could be a higher ranked team still going against a higher ranked team in the next round. So I think that's where Cale Makar and many of the players are coming from. They just want the traditional seeding back. You still have your same 8 teams in the playoff. Nothing's changes there as far as who qualifies and such, but you get a better reward for being a higher ranked team, and that's what it should be.
Yeah, for sure. So it would be, well, last season, for instance, for VGK, it did sort of, right? It sort of played out because they were the first team in the Pacific Division, but number 2 overall seed, correct? And they played the second wild card team.
Yes.
Which
would have been 2 versus 7.
And that would have been 2 versus 7. So
Yeah.
that played out the right way. And then VGK again, 2 versus 7, and then the Oilers in the second round, and that fell the right way.
It might have been close, but
it did according to points and where they were seated. Yes.
Okay.
So things did work out, and then after that, I think it might have just been not correct the way 1 through 8 would have worked. And again, it would have been the old structure: 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and the 4 and 5 seeds would play, which was always so interesting. But wasn't it? Yeah, Dallas and Colorado was 4 versus 5. Essentially, it sort of did play out this year, but there's so many times where it doesn't.
Right. And listen, at the end of the day, the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy in all of professional sports to win. So does it matter much? Does it change a whole lot if they go back to the traditional? I don't know if it's really going to matter a whole lot, but the NHL has made the first round much more interesting instead of basketball, where likely I don't know how basketball works. They got tournament after tournament now, but yeah. So I think the NHL's done a good job at making the first round more interesting, but I'm still in favor of the old format.
Yeah, they've got the good old play-in games in the NBA.
Play-in games, in-season tournaments, all sorts of drama.
Fox 5 this morning, 10 a.m., myself and Q Myers. Special announcement, tune in then. And it is on Fox 5 television here in Las Vegas. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Have a great day, everyone. Of course, we'll be back again tomorrow, which on my calendar now says it's Thursday tomorrow, first day of camp. It's the first day of camp coming up tomorrow, and we will be on it a lot more than we were today. We appreciate you tuning in. For Chris Golick, Tony Cardasco, see you tomorrow on Lockdown Golden Knights.